The Buttermachine by Ludwig Bemelmans. There are two Doyles here. One is a sergeant, the other a lieutenant. The sergeant is efficient and thin. The lieutenant is fat, with the face of an old lady and little eyes that easily turn hard with offense. He always looks past my face when he speaks to me. The soldiers have invented a very right and beautiful name for him. His trousers have given them this idea. They call him Satchel Ass. A satchel is a portmanteau, and ass is a donkey, but in this case it is the army word for derriere. It fits well. When he walks, it looks as if the portmanteau were constantly opened and closed, and when he sits down, it flows over the chair. When he has been around, they do not say, "Lieutenant Doyle was here." They say, "Doyle was here. Question, which one? Answer, Satchel-ass Doyle." Lieutenant Doyle is the glee club leader and mess officer. He complains all day long about the flies, looks into the ice machine and the ice boxes, and his pet is the butter machine. He looks at it twice a day with affection. He bought it himself and he shows it all the other officers, or some friends of his. And he shows all the other officers, or some friends of his that come visiting, how it works. "That's a great little piece of machinery there," he says to them. "The butter machine has been here 10 days. Before that, we cut the butter with a small square frame, over which a row of thin, sharp wires were stretched, making about 16 squares. These wires run from left to right and up and down. One man and a tub of water with ice is all that is needed to cut all the butter for the men, the patients, and even the officers' mess. And all this takes is at the most 10 minutes. Now we have to first rinse the butter machine with hot water, fill it with ice, then trim the blocks of butter because, as they are, they do not fit the round cylinder inside the ice. The cylinder is long and round, the blocks of butter are square and short. 1.5 of them, after they are trimmed, fit into the machine. When they are in there, a tight cover is attached, the heavy lid is clamped down, and then the work begins. A man has to stand in front of the machine and work a little lever from left to right and back again to the left, and every time these two motions are completed, one little square of butter falls out of the machine. I have told Lieutenant Doyle that it is a waste of time, that the butter was cut in 10 minutes before, and now it takes 2 hours to do it, and twice a day. It is ridiculous, but he says, "That butter machine is all right." I have detailed Mulvey, who is the laziest of the KPs, to this work, and he is now in the dining room and sings his awful song in there and makes these little butter pieces. Mulvey soon finds out, with making a little fuss, he can stretch his work so that he has nothing else to do, and when Lieutenant Doyle comes in and sees him cleaning the machine very carefully, he stops and smiles and tells me, "Mulvey is a good man, but I will fix that." We have one mess table that has a broken leg. After midday meal, when the dishes are washed, would be a good time to do this, but then there are too many people, and I think such things should always be done alone, with no one around for confusion when somebody asks questions later on. Sunday is the best day. Then all is very quiet, everyone is out. On the next Sunday, when I am not invited out until late in the evening, I move the table with the broken leg over to the door and change it for the one on which the butter machine sits. This one has good legs. There is a corner of the table which meets the door when it is opened. Soldiers rush into rooms, and on that corner is the machine. It is very heavy, about 150 pounds. After this is arranged, I go up to my quarters. There was a crash as soon as I got up there, but I dressed and left because it was time to meet Doris's car. The next day, when I am back in the mess hall, the cook says, "Somebody busted the butter machine. Lieutenant Doyle is wild and wants to see everybody who works here." The best thing is to go right over to the headquarters and look surprised and make a face that asks, "Who could have done this? Let me know." Mulvey is there already answering questions. The butter machine is there also, but I am afraid it can't be repaired. One of the pig iron legs is broken off, and the machinery under the cylinder where the lever goes back and forth and the butter comes out seems mangled, but it looks good otherwise. Lieutenant Doyle has no suspicion. He points at the machine and says, What do you think of that? But he asks no more. Mulvey has told him, when he saw the machine last, and another man how he found it. Whoever opened the door and broke it is not to be determined, because he would not report himself, and no one has seen anybody else. All questions and answers are filled out on a long printed statement, which the Army issues for all things that break or are lost or worn out. Mulvey is back washing dishes, and we cut the butter the old way for some weeks. Then Lieutenant Doyle comes and takes Mulvey away from the dishwashing. He comes back with a small table with very strong legs. Lieutenant Doyle has picked out a corner where to put it. Near this corner are no doors. Outside is a truck with a new butter machine. And that's the end of the Butter Machine.